Welcome to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, global markets reporter at Nasdaq. You're losing sales if it's difficult for your customers to pay you. That's according to a survey by Thryv. Joining me to discuss in more detail is Joe Walsh, CEO of Nasdaq-listed Thryv, a company that provides small businesses access to cloud-integrated solutions that take the place of daily administrative tasks, allowing them to focus on their business, customers, and passion. Joe, it is great to have you with us. Welcome to Trade Talks.
Glad to be here. Thanks.
Tell us more about the solutions that Thryv provides to small businesses.
Thryv is an operating system for small businesses. They can basically run their whole company on this platform, and Thryv payments, Thryv Pay, and other electronic payments are a part of that.
Give us a high-level overview of the survey and methodology.
So we partnered with Payments Dive. They surveyed a little over 2,000 consumers in the first quarter, just checking on the progress they're making with their interest in digital payments. It turns out that a small business that can accept digital payments, it has a tremendous advantage over one that doesn't. About 3/4 of consumers would prefer to pay digitally, and if they were given an option of two similar services and one that could take digital payments, they would often pick the digital payment oriented business.
And Joe, what were some of the key findings from the survey?
It was impressive just how far consumers have come in their interest in doing this. Even like high ticket items, if they're making a high ticket purchase, they would prefer to do it in a digital format. They feel like there's some protection there, as opposed to, say, giving cash or paying by check. They're even interested in willing to do ACH type payments if they can save on possibly convenience fees or being charged sometimes to use credit cards.
Yeah, I can't even remember the last time I even wrote a check out. How did the pandemic impact payment solutions, and what trends are here to stay as a result of it?
So all of a sudden, the big term contactless payments came in, right? Being able to pay somebody remotely. And that change is really sticking. Consumers expect that now. They certainly experience it when they deal with global e-commerce or bigger companies, and they really would like that when they deal with small businesses. So part of what our Thryv solution does is it modernizes those small businesses. In fact, we believe that this decade, the decade of the 2020s, is the decade of small businesses migrating to the cloud, running their businesses on cloud tools, where last decade we saw enterprises move their computing to the cloud. And small businesses, for the most part, were still unclouded. We feel like now small businesses are making that move to the cloud. And that's part of what Thryv software is all about, really that operating system for a small business.
Was there anything notable as it relates to the size of the transaction?
Yes, absolutely. We found that the larger transactions tend to deliver the most benefit to both the consumer and the business, because there are fees charged here. And when you do the digital payment, you can actually reduce those fees a little bit.
Are there any differences with how different generations approach digital payments, how they spend and what they're spending on?
That's a great question, because it came right out in the data. When you look at younger generations, younger demographic, they have a tendency to be much more digitally forward, digitally native. And as you get to the older generations, they tend to hang back a little bit and want to be more old style payments. And it sort of skews right across the generations.
Any tips for picking a payment processor?
What we find, and we do provide one, we have Thryv Pay that we offer on our platform, and we also offer it what we call Thryv Pay Freemium. We can go right onto the app stores on Apple or on Android and just download it and use it. It's a free download. We find that people are searching for lower cost solutions, because you might not think it's a lot, but when there's like a 3% charge there, if you're getting a deposit for a kitchen remodel job, if you're a contractor, it might be $2,000 check. You would really like to save that difference. And the other thing about the digital payments like Thryv Pay is it gives you next day funds.
And finally, Joe, let's talk about guidance for a moment here. Thryv just announced it's targeting SaaS revenue of $1 billion by 2027 and $4 billion by 2032. You also reaffirmed Q1 and full year 2022 guidance. What are the drivers behind that?
Well, the biggest driver is small businesses are ready. The adoption by small business is accelerating very quickly. We feel like the total addressable market that we're working with is mushrooming before our eyes. So it really is keeping the growth rate that we currently have. We grew 32% in our SaaS business last year. It's keeping that growth rate and then flattering it with additional geographic expansion and additional areas of our business that are growing. additional growth vectors that are coming through.
All right, Joe, we appreciate the insight. Thanks for joining us on Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.
Thank you, Jill.